Hi everybody, Dan Illman here with some exciting news. DRF Formulator, the gold standard in past performance information, is now free exclusively on DRF Bets. Join DRF Bets with the promo code WINNING. Get a $250 first deposit match bonus, a $10 free bet, and free Formulator already uploaded to your account. Access Formulator's premium features, including sortable trainer stats, race replays, personalized trip notes, and lots more. Free Formulator exclusively on DRF Bets. Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Friday, March the 18th, race number 8 at Oaklawn Park. We're going a mile and a 16th. This is an optional claiming race. 903 life, the condition, 62,500, the optional claiming price. Let's take a look at this field. You can download free Formulator past performances for this race on the race of the day event page, drf.com. Access them, handicap along with us. When you've made your final determinations, you can play this race in the entire card at Oaklawn on Friday with your DRF Bets account. Mike, the morning line favorites, the number 7, Have-It, who makes his second start off a long layoff. A lot of upside potential.
Yeah, he's still lightly raced enough, I guess, to hold out some hope for Dan, and he is second off the long layoff here. A couple of, buyers in the 90s already on his card through 6 starts. There are definitely things to like about this horse.
We'll throw up the Timeform US pace projector. Fan Club for Brad Cox has some speed. I wouldn't be surprised if the 4 Wayakin is very aggressively handled, stretching out in his second start off a long layoff. And I can see the 1 Game Day Play getting up close from the rail draw.
Yeah, I can see that as well. I won't argue with Fan Club going forward, though. That horse has really good tactical speed. He does not need the lead to be effective. So we'll see how they decide to play it with that horse. I can't really argue with this pace projector. I don't necessarily feel like Fan Club has to be on the lead, but maybe he will be.
Game Day Play, the number 1's kind of an interesting runner to me. This horse was a stakes winner at 2. He was stakes placed in his first start off the Diodoro Claim. And then after tiring in the Matt Win, he went to the sidelines for a very long time. So the Matt Win, I'm going to take just kind of not going to be too hard on him for that effort. And then he came back on a muddy track going 2 turns, and he might not have liked the layoff or the 2 turns. I think it'll be a lot sharper here. It'll be a good price.
I think those things are probably true, Dan. I'd be willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. He did not run well off the layoff last time, but it felt like he probably did improve for Diodoro off the Claim early last year. So I guess that's a good sign for him. I'm still very concerned about how far this horse wants to go. I'm not so sure that 2-turn route racing is really what he wants to do.
Brad Cox has the 2 Fan Club. He really seems to like the home cooking at Oaklawn Park. He is 2 for 2 this meet. He has slowly moved up through his conditions. He scored comfortably last time out. We're going to watch that race. This is in late January, going the mile and the 16th distance. He got a very nice trip sitting off the lead. He takes over, turning into the stretch, and he pours it on. Rock solid 84 buyer. Another horse, one of the also-rans in this race, came back to run 3rd in a 1 other than at Santa Anita with an 87s buyer. So this fig looks legit.
Yeah, he's run well in his last 2 starts. They're both very easy wins off of really good trips in those 2 races, Dan. And it just feels like he's, good right now and probably heading the right way with more upside. All those things are positives. The reality of this race, though, is this is a way tougher race than either of the last 2, assuming, several of these horses show up with their good race. And if they do that, this horse has to improve to win. And he's probably going to be one of the shorter prices in here.
The number 3 Allege is a 3-time winner taking advantage of the optional claiming portion of this race, in for the 62.5. He earned a very competitive buyer speed figure 3 starts back, and maybe he could just simply make an excuse for his last 2 races. 2 back he was in against Warriors Charge. He was going to be one of the favorites in Saturday's graded Essex. And last time out, they tried to go 1.5 miles with him over a wet track, and he might not have liked the distance, and he might not have cared for the surface.
Yeah, I agree with the excuse for the most recent race anyway, Dan. The 1.5 miles, it felt like maybe it was too far for him. He set a good trip. He followed the winner of that race is a really sharp horse right now. He followed that horse around the track, and he just couldn't kick on when that horse went for home. It felt like maybe the distance was an excuse there. He ran a pretty poor race 2 starts back, but as you pointed out, he was in against Warriors Charge. Maybe that field was just a little too tough for him prior to that. I mean, any one of his prior 4 or 5 races will give him a real look in this race, and I like him cutting back.
I'm expecting the 4 Wayakin to be forwardly placed. This horse did some nice things off the Mike Maker claim last year. I liked his race 2 starts back. It was a 1-turn mile. I know he had every chance to get by the winner in that race, but the winner had showed promise at that point. He earned a solid figure, and then he went to the sidelines for a very long time. Now he returned going 6 furlongs. This horse has been a 1-turn horse for most of his career. We know that Maker claims horses, likes to stretch them out. Eventually, that's what he's doing here. I have a feeling he's going to be a lot sharper second start of the form cycle.
Yeah, I think he's going to show speed in here too, and I agree with you. I think he'll be sharper in this race. He's another one who, clearly has to improve to beat a field like this one. And I'm still not sure that added distance really helps this horse, Dan. So far, he's been best going shorter.
The horse that beat him last time out came back to run third in a 2-other then with an 80 Beyer speed figure. Caddo River is up next. You remember Caddo River from last year at Oaklawn. He won the Smarty Jones. He was second in the Arkansas Derby, and he's trying to get back to his form. His last start, he finished third. He finished behind Harvard, and in that race, Mike, he worked on a pretty good stalking trip, but in the stretch, it looked like he was building up steam. He got impeded. He got knocked onto his left lead, and I wonder if that affected him a little bit.
Yeah, I thought it probably did. He did get an overall pretty good trip in that race. Probably not as good a trip as Harvard got in there, but he was right up close to the pace. I did think he was affected by that incident sort of coming to the 8th pole in that race. I don't want to sit here and say he was going to win, Dan, because he probably wasn't. But I still thought it was a nice bounce back effort from his prior race where he just didn't run well at all. There's still upside with this horse. I can't say I'm a huge fan of his. He's another horse I wouldn't really want a short price on, but I do think he could rebound to a better effort here.
Mr. Lucas is going to put blinkers on the number 6 Ram. This is a son of American Pharaoh who was a big priced runner-up in the Perryville Stakes at Keeneland last year, a sprint where he fell far behind. He came with a run and he just missed. And since then, he's trying to get back to that race. I wonder if he is sort of a one-run, late-running sprinter. They're going to try him 2 turns with the blinkers. Maybe he'll be more forwardly placed.
Yeah, I sort of feel like he's probably a little bit better as a one-turn sprinter, closing sprinter with some pace in front of him. That's probably when he's at his best. He did break his maiden over this course and distance against maiden 50s on a wet track, Dan, so he can get this far, but he's probably better in shorter races where he can catch some pace to run at.
Harvard won 2 races in a row last year in gate-to-wire fashion. They then ran him in the tough edition of the Curlin at Saratoga. He was just beaten by better horses that day, and then he went to the sidelines for a long time. He came back off the layoff in this race at Oaklawn, short stretch of the mile run. He got a great trip. He's in behind the leaders. You're going to see him. He's going to get the split. While Caddo River's on the far outside, you're going to see as he gets outside Harvard, he knocks a horse into Caddo River, kind of knocks his momentum, but got to give Harvard credit. He doesn't get the win, but this race off the long layoff was promising, even with the good trip.
Yeah, I would, just because he was off the layoff, Dan, I guess I could give him the benefit of the doubt. Overall, things worked out really well for him there. Sitting right in behind. He got clear with time. The horse that he was trying to close down in there just sort of contested the pace the entire way. And Harvard still couldn't catch him. But I guess considering the layoff, I guess he really did run a pretty good race there. And he's just so lightly raced. I guess you could project upside for him. Do I want to bet him at a short price in here? And it feels like he could be a short price. I mean, I really don't. But I won't be surprised when he wins.
Rob Atras found a great spot for the number 8, You're to Blame. This is a horse that's banked over $850,000 in his career, and he's dropping into a field mostly comprised of non-winners of 3 Life. He's won 8 races in his career. Last time out in early January, his first start of the year, he didn't run very well. He was in against better horses. Strong Tide came back to run an excellent third in the Connolly on turf with a 94 Beyer. Then he got back to Dirty One with a triple-digit Beyer. So big drop in class for a back classer. Just got to prove he's not getting long in a tooth.
Yeah, that's the concern with him. He can be a little bit of an in and outer. He doesn't always show up and run his good race, but I'll tell you what, his good race is going to give him a real chance in here, Dan. His last 2 starts, they aren't great. I'd be willing to give him a little bit of a benefit of the doubt for the last one. He's probably not at his absolute best over a wet track. So fast dirt, back in this spot, I feel like he's a major player in here, and he's going to be a fair price.
And then number 9, Salo, 5-year-old. This is only going to be start number 4, and we haven't seen this horse since September of 2020. Won his first 2 starts on the turf. They tried dirt in the Oklahoma Derby, caught a sharp horse, Shared Sense, a horse that would come back to run third in the Discovery in New York with a 93 Beyer. But he might be better on turf, and off this long layoff, I'm willing to watch, even at a pretty big price.
Yeah, I'm going to watch one too with this horse. I do think it's interesting that they're coming right back off the layoff in a dirt race, though, because it does feel like he's probably better on the grass. So maybe that's a good sign for him. I'm not betting him in here.
Top pick time for the Friday feature at Oaklawn Park. Mike, you're going with a ledge. And again, I think he was in a little too tough 2 starts back. The distance wasn't what he really wanted last time out, but his figure and race from 3 starts back makes him tough. And I think he's going to fall through the cracks from a wagering standpoint.
Yeah, I hope he does. I wouldn't take him at any kind of a short price. Then it is Asmussen Rosario. So I'm concerned that maybe he just takes a little money off of the connections, which is a bad thing for him. I do think he's competitive in here, though, with his good race. And I just sort of wanted to stay away from the favorites in here.
I like Fan Club's tactical speed. We're going to learn a lot more about him. This is the toughest field he's faced in his career, but I think he has the tactical speed that if he doesn't make the lead, he can sit off the 1 and the 4 and get the jump on the true closers. 3825 for Mike, 2753 for me. Race number 8 at Oaklawn is your Friday feature and your Friday DRF race of the day. Good luck.